Hi, thank you. I'll try to speak up so actually people can hear me. Right, so this is the Core C++ core guidelines corner. I'm going to talk about contributing to it because we really need help. What do I press? Right. The really great part about writing code is you're trying to express your opinion. You're trying to tell the computer, I want this to be the right thing in the world. The C++ core guidelines are written very similarly. We're trying to write better code with them. If you don't know what you're doing, they're a great guide to tell you what you should be doing. If you do, you can improve. That's a great part of the guidelines. But we do need your help because everybody here has run into an issue that has taken them hours to fix. And if you can codify what the little thing that could have fixed everything, prevented that from happening into the guidelines, that will save hundreds of people, thousands of them. So I'm going to just very quickly go over how you contribute to the C++ core guidelines, and I'll tell you what to watch out for. Basically, you have to open issues and be respectful because the people who participate in these guidelines are some of the leaders in the industry. Obviously, you got Stroop, he wrote a whole big chunk of the guidelines. But there's other names out there, and I'm not going to go. But still, I'm going to discuss a case where I personally proposed something and it got accepted, and I was very happy. So yeah, and if we have time, maybe we'll go over one that got rejected, which is much more fun. So first of all, the C++ core guidelines are huge. You don't have to read all of them in order to contribute. If you see a typo, create a pull request, send it in. I'm not going to explain how pull requests are created. There's great guides on GitHub to how to do that. If you do find something that you want to add, something more complicated, I really, really recommend reading the introduction section and the philosophy section first. They're about 5 pages long or so. They explain what the opinion of the guidelines are. So you don't say something that completely clashes with what they're trying to do. Finally, you should read contributing.md, which explains the procedures to how to contribute. A whole bunch of it's a little bit out of date, but if you stick to it, then nobody's going to get too upset. Right. So, things that you have to watch out for. When you're writing code in this thing, you're going to be writing, for example, every item in the guidelines starts with an explanation of what it means, and a reason, and a good example, and a bad example. That's kind of the format that they take. When you give a good example or a bad example, that code has to compile. There are back-end things that test whether it compiles. Furthermore, all the variables in that code have to have names that actually make sense. They're all checked for English. There's a dictionary and everything. It's amazing. So, as long as if you make a mistake, there's automatic robots that will capture mistakes for you. So don't worry about it too much. Don't freak out about it too much. It's okay. And everybody there is really nice and just wants to do good for the world. They want to make everything better. So just be respectful. We're just trying to make it really great happen. And as much as form is concerned, try to explain what you want people to do, not what you don't want to do. If you say, never use no, it's not very helpful. Explain, you should use this instead. Yeah, anyway. Okay, so first thing you do is you fork your GitHub repository and you create a pull request or an open initiative. It's a complicated thing. If it's just a typo, you just open a pull request, post it, somebody will merge it. Or it will say, no, don't merge. That sucks. But if you want to make something more complicated, you have to create an issue and discuss and say, here's the things I want to change. People will come back to you and say, no, we think that's not quite right. Well, then you can say this is better. Someone else will say, oh, well, you completely missed the point. In the easiest case, the issue is resolved because you found out that you're wrong. That's an easy one. But sometimes you end up having to write code, and you write a thing, and people say, oh, well, I got to fix this and fix that. There's proper code review even for the words you write. Finally, when the agreement is added, you post the pull request, and all the tests are run by the robots. Like I said, code is compiled. Anything that causes a mistake and doesn't pass the Travis CI test, you get a little red X. You'll get comments, you'll have to fix it. Once you finally fix it, you're good to go. Okay, you say, I'm done, I'm ready. Someone will review it, and it will either get merged, or someone will leave a comment. You'll have to do it again. Here's an example. There is a guideline, C148, where it says, use dynamic cast to a pointer type when failure to find the required class is considered a valid alternative. Now I'm going to explain what it was. I thought it was stupid. I was wrong. Because I opened 9110 and people said, oh, well, you know, there are cases where we do need this. I was convinced. Wonderful. Gone. But the reason I thought it was a bad guideline was because the wording was not quite good enough and the example didn't cover what I thought was required. So I had to open another issue where I modified the reasoning and gave a better example and added in, and it's caused a whole lot of discussion. It's just tiny, you can't see it because it just took forever. And after a whole lot of discussion, hooray! I get a little check mark says pass, and Andrew Pardo merges it into the code, into the guidelines, and hooray! From now on, that code is immortally inside the C++ guidelines. So basically, we need your help. We really need people to just add stuff. There's so many guidelines that are missing things. There are guidelines that have just 3 question marks. And it's so easy to write stuff. You can even write something wrong, and someone will come in and try to help you do it. That someone might be someone really interesting, and they're all people who really know what they're talking about. This is really, really easy to do. So please try to take some time. Just pick a section that you think is a little annoying and just fix it better. Some of the ideas that became part of the guidelines became part of the standard. For example, the span concept in GSL became part of the C++ standard, or will become part of the C++ standard. Yeah, that was really good here. I was just trying to motivate you guys to actually contribute.
I thought you were going to talk about your...
That's the next one. That's the next one.
Okay.
Like if there's no questions, I'll continue. I'm trying to keep this all within 10 minutes. Maybe 7 minutes.
Stay out of the...
Okay. Right. So, links, the C++ guidelines are located here. Contributing files located here. Read this before you do any posting. The slightly more embarrassing case. I decided I wanted to change something. There was a guideline, per 11, move computation from runtime to compile. Per is short for performance. And since I was newly minted, high-frequency trading dude, I thought I knew everything there was to know about high-speed computation. I rewrote it to be really, really draconially just do everything you possibly can to compile. That was a little bit too much. So, anyway, so I wrote the thing. I wrote a nice little draft, and I posted a diff. I even created an issue, just like it says in the contributing file. And I waited a whole day. A whole day. This is what the thing I posted looks like. It's a lot of text. Nobody likes reviewing so much text. As you may know, when you post when you have a code review of 5 lines, there's 20 comments. A code review of 1,000 lines, it's like 1, right? Nobody reads those. I don't know why I thought anybody would read them. Oh well. So okay, it's been a whole day. I figured, well, no comments is no errors, like we learned in Unix, right? So I'll create a pull request. Open the pull request. And I get a merge, and I get a few comments, but nothing really serious, so I'm waiting to get a merge. A month later, get a response. Andrew Pardo, one of the main mergers. Per our discussion, writing code that does all of its computation during compile time is a bit too radical. We appreciate the direction you've taken. Bjarne would like to take a stab at writing this one himself. Thank you. Andrew Pardo assigned Bjarne Stristrand. This is the proudest moment of my C++ career. Okay? My issue gets assigned to Bjarne. Yes. So I waited. Yeah, and it only took 6 months. And he wrote a pull request. And with all the errors, got merged in. Yeah, but still, there's still room for improvement. He still has leaves room to make more additional changes. So, even though it got rejected, it's great. I was really happy. Yeah, so if you do make any changes to the C++ guidelines, a lot of people see it. There are, last I checked, over 1,700 people who will get an email over every single change you will do there. About 50 of them actually comment all the time. But there's under 200 people who've committed. So most likely anything you write will stay there. And I don't know, it's really, really great to get to talk to people who really know what C++ is about. And they're really nice. So please contribute. And who knows, maybe your stuff will get assigned to Ground too. That's it. Thank you very much.